Declassified documents explain a Special Forces unit's strange encounter in North Korea. On December 17, 1974, a Special Forces unit was sent on a search and destroy mission in a demilitarized zone in the northernmost part of North Korea. They set out on their mission early that morning. Their objective? To use a winding river as a guide to locate the enemy and neutralize them upon contact. They continued for hours with virtually no encounters. They were miles into the forest and following the winding river when suddenly something changed. The squad leader raises his hand, halting the rest of the crew, as he had noticed that the sounds of the forest had abruptly stopped and it was now completely silent. Up to this point in the mission, it had seemed as though the zone was completely empty. There were no enemies in sight, but the unnatural silence didn't sit right with the lieutenant. As a result, he decides to send 2 groups of scouts ahead to intercept an enemy or look for potential ambush. After letting the scouts get out in front, the rest continued their long trek. Hours later, evening began to approach, and that's when things took a turn for the worst. Night fell as they made their final sweep of the riverbed. Then, they moved to the rendezvous point established with the scout before he left, but he was nowhere to be found. So they quickly radioed the rest of the scouts and realized that they had all gone MIA. They assumed that they had been intercepted by the enemy. So in fear that the enemy was close and the same thing would happen to them, the leader decided that they should turn around and head back to base for reinforcements. So they make the quick decision, waste no time, and begin heading south. They were making their way back hastily in fear that the enemy was hot on their trail, when once again, the leader held his hand up to halt. He orders the crew to keep their eyes up, and when they do, they can't believe what they see. As they gazed up into the trees, they noticed a group of dark entities had suddenly surrounded them without their knowledge. At first, thinking they were rebel soldiers, the group leader ordered them to fire on the creatures, so they raised their guns up and let them have it. The entities quickly disappear, and it doesn't seem like anybody made any contact at all. Baffled, the squad leader yells out, "Move, move, move!" as they had to get back to base as soon as possible. The entities continued to follow closely behind, and occasionally the group would stop and fire on one, but they never seemed to be able to hit them. This continued till they were halfway back to their destination, when finally they encountered their stalkers. Part 2.